In the vast, unending grasslands of Mongolia, a world of harsh beauty and brutal survival, a child was born. His name was Temujin. Cast into a life of poverty and peril after his father's murder, he was born into nothing. This unforgiving landscape, this endless steppe, would become the forge for a will of iron. From the ashes of betrayal and the depths of enslavement, a fire was kindled. A fire that would one day consume the world. He was a fugitive, a boy hunted by his own people. Yet, within him grew a vision of a united people, a single nation bound not by clan, but by loyalty and law. The world saw a disheveled outcast. He saw an emperor. His journey began not with a crown, but with a promise made to his first followers, a promise of shared struggle and shared glory. This was the dawn of Genghis Khan. The Mongolian plateau was a fractured mosaic of warring tribes, a chaotic dance of raid and reprisal. For centuries, the clans fought amongst themselves, a cycle of bloodshed with no end in sight. Into this turmoil, Temujin rode. He was a revolutionary strategist. He understood the hearts of his people, their desires for security, their respect for strength, and their yearning for a leader who could deliver them from chaos. He didn't just conquer, he absorbed. He offered his rivals a choice: join him and prosper, or stand against him and be swept away like dust in the wind. He shattered the old aristocratic order, promoting men based on merit and loyalty, not birthright. This was a radical idea that bound his army to him with unshakable devotion. Generals who were once common shepherds now commanded thousands. His closest companions were those who had stood by him in his darkest hours. Through masterful diplomacy, strategic alliances, and, when necessary, ruthless force, he began to stitch the warring factions together. The Karaites, the Naimans, the Merkits, one by one, the great tribes bent the knee. In 1206, at a great assembly known as a Kurultai, the chieftains of the unified tribes proclaimed him Genghis Khan, the oceanic ruler, the universal leader of all Mongols. The scattered nomads were now a single, unstoppable force. A nation had been born from the will of one man. The steppe, once a symbol of his isolation, was now the heart of his new world. The stage was set. The Mongol storm was about to be unleashed. With the tribes united, Genghis Khan turned his gaze outward. The world beyond the steppe was a patchwork of ancient empires and wealthy kingdoms, complacent in their power and blind to the storm gathering on their borders. The Mongol army was unlike anything they had ever faced. It was a force forged in the harshness of nomadic life, a cavalry that moved with the speed of the wind. Every soldier was a master horseman and archer, able to ride for days and fight from the saddle with lethal precision. Their tactics were a symphony of deception and speed. Feigned retreats would lure powerful armies into devastating ambushes. Swarms of horse archers would rain arrows upon their enemies, weakening and disorienting them before the heavy cavalry delivered the final, crushing blow. They were masters of siege warfare, absorbing the knowledge of captured engineers to topple the mightiest city walls. From the conquest of the Shishir kingdom to the fall of the great Khwarezmian Empire in Persia, the Mongol war machine seemed invincible. The initial invasions were campaigns of brutal efficiency. Cities that resisted were often razed, their populations decimated. These acts of terror were not random cruelty. They were calculated psychological warfare. The fear of the Mongol horde traveled faster than the army itself, causing many cities to surrender without a fight. Yet, this was only one side of the coin. Genghis Khan was not just a conqueror, he was a builder. He understood that to rule an empire, you needed more than just fear. You needed order, communication, and commerce. As the Mongol banners flew over new lands, a new era began. The vast territories conquered by Genghis Khan and his successors were united under a single rule, creating the largest contiguous land empire in history. From the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe, the Mongol peace, the Pax Mongolica, descended. The very warriors who had brought chaos now became the enforcers of order. They established a rule of law that was, for its time, remarkably tolerant. Genghis Khan's code, the Yasa, was strictly enforced across the empire. It punished theft and adultery severely but established unprecedented religious freedom. Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists were all free to practice their faith without persecution. Ambassadors and merchants were given special protection. The Khan understood that wealth flowed not just from plunder, but from trade. He revitalized and secured the ancient Silk Road. The network of trade routes that had once been perilous and fragmented became a superhighway of commerce and ideas. For the first time in centuries, a merchant could travel safely from China to the Black Sea, protected by the authority of the Great Khan. Caravans laden with silk, spices, and porcelain moved freely, their passage secured by a sophisticated relay system of postal stations known as the Yam. This system allowed not only for trade to flourish, but for messages and intelligence to cross the vast empire with astonishing speed. Control trade. Control wealth. The empire became a conduit for an unprecedented exchange of goods, technologies, and cultures. Gunpowder and the compass moved west, while Persian astronomy and medicine traveled east. It was a period of extraordinary cross-pollination, a globalized world born from the vision of a nomad from the steppe. Genghis Khan passed away in 1227, but his legacy was only just beginning. His sons and grandsons, figures like Ojedi, Kublai, and Hulagu, would continue his conquests, expanding the empire to its furthest reaches. They would rule over China as the Yuan dynasty, establish the Ilkhanate in Persia, and form the Golden Horde that would dominate Russia for centuries. The empire he forged would eventually fracture, but its impact on the world was permanent. He had redrawn the map of Eurasia, toppling old dynasties and giving rise to new ones. He connected East and West in ways that had never been imagined. How do we remember this man? Is he a ruthless barbarian, a destroyer of civilizations? Or is he a visionary leader, a unifier who brought law, order, and connection to a fractured world? The truth, as it often is, lies somewhere in the complex space between. He was a product of a violent time, and he used violence to achieve his ends. The human cost of his conquests was immense and cannot be ignored. Yet, from that crucible of conflict, he created an empire that fostered a period of remarkable peace and cultural exchange. He laid the groundwork for the modern world in more ways than we can count. Today, in Mongolia, he is revered not as a conqueror, but as the founding father of the nation. He is the symbol of Mongolian strength, unity, and identity. His story is a powerful testament to the idea that a single individual, armed with an unbreakable will and a powerful vision, can indeed change the course of history. From a boy born into nothing, he rose to rule the largest land empire the world has ever known. His name echoed through the centuries, a name that still inspires both awe and terror. Look again at the steppe. It is quiet now. The thundering hooves are gone. But the spirit of that lone rider, the boy named Temujin who became Genghis Khan, endures. It is written in the wind that sweeps across the grasslands, a timeless reminder of a legacy as vast and enduring as the land that gave him birth. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the figures who shaped our world. See you next time.